Alright, here we go. Thank you for joining me. It's This Week in Tyranny, episode 140. I am your host, Konrad Rogoz. Thanks for joining me today on this August 10th, 2025 edition. I actually wrote this August 8th. I decided what I was going to talk about. So we're going to roll with it. We're 3 weeks away from Soundpath, the Soundpath Music Festival, where I will be one of the headliners, along with Derek Rose, Presence, and a few others, many others. It's going to be quite the show. It's going to be a great experience. I want to start out with talking about that. I'm also going to end with talking about it. Now, the way this comes together is it's not just that I'm going to be performing 2-3 weeks from now, 3 weeks, Labor Day weekend. It's also because it is episode 140, so it's no accident. And anyway, I actually think that it's more valuable for me to come on here and talk about music that kind of has nothing to do with anything, right, that's going on in this world. Even though this is This Week in Tyranny, I see that as being more valuable than me coming on to talk about age verification or Trump's executive actions or some of the other things. So you may not even be surprised by that anymore, because it's actually been a few shows like that recently where I'm just saying I'm not even going to pretend to make this about the weekly events, because it's not really about the weekly events, okay? But I'm gonna use the music to make a point. It's not that this is a show about music, but I'm gonna use music as the backdrop. The show itself is about life, okay? This Week in Tyranny is a show about life, and in my life, this is the kind of music that inspires me. And inspiration is very necessary. I think the number one problem in this world today is a lack of action. Lack of action, just that people are really not doing anything. I hear it all the time that, people are waking up, they're seeing all this new information, they're talking about things that they didn't talk about before, and then I say, and then what do they do with it? They do nothing. The action is still zero. Because so what if you get put onto this amazing, groundbreaking information, if the next day you see the next thing going on, the next thing that's the big headline, and then you let it go? There is no follow-up action. It's all about the follow-up action, and that's missing. That's the number one problem in the world, I think, is a lack of action. Number two problem in the world is immoral action. It's the wrong actions that people are taking, but that would be the number one reason. But even worse than that, I think it's just a lack of action. It's really like, who we gotta blame is ourselves, because we're creating a vacuum of action. Bad people are always going to be bad people. Criminals are always going to be criminals. Drug addicts are always going to be drug addicts. That's what they do. They have those inclinations. They will live that way. There's no, it doesn't absolve them from the blame. But it's our lack of action that makes it so that these people control the world. The Peter Thiel and Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Zuckerberg. I mean, we gave them that power. It's only one guy, and then giving orders to a bunch of soldiers and cops and bureaucrats. But again, even with that structure, the blame is on us. Anyway, I would rather talk about music, and the kind of music that inspires me, it just happens to be 140 BPM, 140 beats per minute, okay? 140 BPM is infamously, markedly indicative of grime and dubstep music, and that's the kind of music that I'm going to talk about, because it is episode 140. I've wanted to talk about this for years. I remember when I discovered this in 2010, I went to go tell all my friends. I tried to make it. I got it to catch on a little bit among some of my close friends. Now BPM is beats per minute. We're talking about the pace of the music, right? And I'll get into that soon, the actual numbers behind it. But first, I want you to hear what I'm talking about. Okay, listen. This is what it sounds like.
One up, bar for bar, barring, I'll tear it, one up. Your career will run up way quicker than a girl when the heat waves come up. Face all numb up, had one life, hit a box, and I've got one up. Nobody can't touch me, one up, I'll bury them, one up. Box the levels, I'm gone again, family, and what did these tables, a mushroom. See you later, one up, to catch me, I've got to go one up. I told them already, we are on the same levels, I'm one up. 1,000 coins to the stage is one up. Everybody's getting upset, why is that? Cause I'm a problem solvers, can't take this one up.
As you heard, of course, that's not American music, it's English music. right? So you understand it, but it's not that easy to understand. I know for somebody who's new to it. That song is from 2009, right about the time I started listening to it. The genre itself, this genre developed in the early 2000s, with like 2004 to 2006 being the heyday. This grime music is basically like the hip hop of the electronic era. It's a very similar way that this comes up. It's just people sitting around in the ghetto, you know, basically young black men just developing a whole new musical style. It's a completely new music style that originated from the streets, just like rap in the 70s in New York. Now, of course, you know, rap in the 70s didn't just occur there. It had its origins, it had its influences, and the tradition of this kind of style of just talking over a drum beat is ancient. This is ancient. This is like pre-music, you know. Now, this stuff, why does it inspire me? Because it is raw, it is energetic, and it's downright violent. It actually is violent. The themes are very violent. The reason it resonates with me is because that's my style of learning and teaching. That's how I jump into things. I dive into them all the way. And when I want to explain things to somebody, or when I want to share something that matters to me, I'm going to hit you with everything. This is just my style. Okay? It's like all or nothing. This is how I approach tyranny and freedom. It's not a waltz to me. It's not a candlelit philharmonic, right? It's not a little singing around the campfire. It's very hardcore and direct, because there's enough bullshit, injustice in the world, with blatant evidence of the injustice. There's extensive research and so many people talking about it, providing information, people providing information about this. I mean, 3 weeks from now, I'll be at Soundpath, and between Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you're gonna have guys. You're gonna have Derek Bros. You're gonna have Vinny Eastwood. I'm hoping will be there. Mark Devlin. These guys that have been around for years and years, and they've been in their own way really doing so much action, activism, speaking to back this stuff up. We're talking about like 20 plus years of work. There's so much of that now, and me being aware of all of it, I tend to cut out a lot of the niceties these days, talking about it, the formalities, because I just can't do it. When I'm talking to people about this, I have to go straight to the direct and hardcore. And that makes me not that good at talking to the mainstream. This is what we need to do, but I find it very difficult. I find it very difficult to talk to people. When it gets to I want to get right into the nitty gritty, and I can't go through the Socratic method and ask them 30 questions for them to slowly kind of have their eyes open, because just because I'm not able to. It's not something that I'm that good at, to have that kind of patience, philosophically, rhetorically. So just like grime music, the way I do things is never going to appeal to the masses. This Week in Tyranny I don't think it's ever going to appeal to the masses. I'm not going to say it's not going to be popular, but it's not going to be like the Joe Rogan show or something like that. It's just not in the way that the world is today. It is niche, okay? And grime music is niche music, and I kind of am niche. I'm a niche type of guy too, me. I have my quirks, I have qualities. I have a couple flaws in my personality that makes it so I'm just not going to be the most popular guy in the room. I'm not really gonna go viral, okay? I struggle with that sometimes, but really it's kind of like a grass is greener on the other side type of a thing, because whenever I do get the opportunity to get in front of a bunch of people, I back away from that. I say, no, that's not for me. I'd rather be hardcore and direct and not go in through those hoops, okay? I'm not saying that's right or wrong, it's just the way I am, okay? It's a very personal episode, right? So chances are, if you're watching this, it's because you're close to me personally. So I'm just gonna tell it how it is. I found my place in the world, though. Like, this is what I need to be doing. I do a certain type of music, I do a certain type of show, and it's not that I'm gonna get like stuck in that, but I'm doing what I'm good at. I'm doing what I'm effective at. And at the end of the day, there's a vacuum for the uniqueness of you in the world. Like whatever you're good at, what you really feel is like right with you, you need to be doing that, because there's somebody out there that's missing exactly what you have to offer. And if you never do it, then it's missing in the world. Like something that should exist in the world is not going to exist because you didn't get up off your ass and didn't decide to just kind of let it hang out there and wear your heart on your sleeve and just kind of do that thing that you always thought you should do. Just do it. Just do that thing. Anyway, so I've settled into kind of that role, okay? Doing this kind of hardcore show that is consistent but a little bit chaotic sometimes. Now that's the 140 BPM energy. It's consistency but intensity as well. 140 BPM is anyway, let's get into that now, right? The beats per minute mechanics, the pace, the tempo of the music. Grime is a very unique musical subculture because most genres have a range. Like hip hop and rap is thought to be somewhere between 80 beats per minute to 110 beats per minute. When you think of more traditional music like rock and pop, it's somewhere between 100 and 120 beats per minute. This music, the grime, the dubstep, the trap music, it's notoriously 140 beats per minute. Dubstep, however, which is a bit different, it originates from dub music. It originates from the Jamaican sound system culture. So it's not necessarily the electronic, but it is more so of the reggae background. That's actually 70 beats per minute. It's 70 BPM. It's half of 140. But for those that know, 70 and 140 sounds the same to us. And that is because of the octave relationship of music. That 2-to-1 ratio, which is the octave relationship. So dubstep is known for being slow, deliberate, and dark. It's more so like a march into battle. Okay, like if you're nodding your head to it, it's about like this. It's just a bit faster than the seconds on the clock, right? The 60 seconds in a minute. But 70 BPM is actually the same rhythm as 140. It's the same as a 140 BPM grime song. It's just with every other beat being skipped, right? That's the same thing. If you're playing that way, I'm resisting clapping and going into the musical demonstrations. So the reason I bring this up is because you can play one of these otherworldly dubstep songs, and then the grime MCs, the grime vocalists that are making that are rapping over these fast beats, these 140 BPM beats, which is borderline too fast to rap over consistently. Like that's the thing. It's almost too fast to be coherent in your lyrics. So these rappers, like they're right on the edge because they're so. It takes a lot of talent to do this. I wish I could do this. I have a couple of 140 BPM songs. I have a couple of grime songs. I can't, like I just don't have that ability that they have to do it. You know, you just have to. I've had a couple, but it's not the same. It's just not what I wish I could do it. Now, these people that do this, they can use their same lyrics and rap over those 70 BPM songs, those ones that are half as fast. And then mathematically, the rhythm and the pace is going to fit perfectly. Because it's like the same language. There's a shared language here. I'm gonna let you hear some of this.
On a brush we all step on we show, you know what's that true. Pin them in on tree, put in the ganja and take out the seed. We all are intelligent people on the roadside we have smoke weed. Yes indeed, that's what we need. War, one time we talk and then talk more. Side them boy, I'ma kick off them door, I'ma run up with the 4-4. You don't wanna see the 4-4-5. Boss my gun and them not stay alive. Take where your son of mine, take where your wife. And you don't know what's that, me I go still stop.
Doors of hinges, some are gonna get left with injuries. Cause these men are always like ninjas. I got shank which one said finger me. Best hide your head like fringes. It's spam try say he's got infamy. Possible like Kimberly, but the autos letting off triplets. Ram with my witness, I don't really care about fitness. We ain't can handle your fitness. Then get that for your bitches. Try make his wife for your witness. Bitches know that back trigger for your itches. Hand with the bags for your names on the hit list. ICT, nothing personal, but it's just business.
So the reason I bring this up is because I have a theory about the actual tempo. We have 60 seconds in a minute. an average human heart rate, resting heart rate, is between 60 and 100 beats per minute. That's what they say anyway, right? They say that that's the normal. Of course, if you're in good shape, it's going to be lower. Some athletes even have a resting heart rate below 60 BPMs, right? Beats per minute. I think 60 beats per minute is supposed to be the human heartbeat. That's just, that makes sense to me. I think that's the kind of shape we should be in. Of course, admittedly, sitting here right now, I'm definitely not at 60 BPM, right? So, I'm not saying that I'm the healthiest. I'm just saying that's what we should be doing, I think. So 60 beats per minute. Musically, it's very status quo. It's very homeostasis. We resonate with that as being very stable and natural, which means so is 120 beats per minute, that 120 BPM. Now it's interesting that that's going to be right at the average of a lot of pop music, a lot of popular music. Now if you look up the history of military marches, you're going to see that most of the marches, the military marches pace, not just the music but the actual step of a military march is going to be 120 beats per minute, including the United States Army. And that goes back to the Roman military observations that the soldiers that would travel at 120 BPM, that was the pace that would get them to cover the furthest amount of distance, the greatest distance, in the least amount of time without being fatigued. So that's another little piece of evidence that it resonates with the human body, okay? So that's 120, aka 60 beats per minute. So I think that 70 to 60 ratio, that 7 to 6 ratio, that's the reason why this music resonates with me through these qualities. I think it has to do with the numbers, actually, with the actual mathematics of the universe. I always hesitate these days to talk about like occult number study, but I don't know why. I used to do it more, but I'm gonna do it. The number 6, it represents the relationship of nature to man, nature and humanity, especially space and time. So we live in the 6, okay? That's why we have 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. We got the 12-hour clock and the 24-hour clock. They're all multiples of 6. 12 months in a year, multiple of 6 again. 360 days in a year, of course, right? 6 times 6. 6 times 60, of course. Now with space, the hexagon comes up again because it's known to be the most efficient polygon when it comes to storage space, storage capacity. And that's why the bees, honeybees, they make their hive in a honeycomb pattern. The hexagons, the 6-pointed shapes. Snowflakes are also 6-pointed. So we see that come up. And also the number 6 is a spiral. It is the Fibonacci spiral. Of course, the phi ratio, we see that all throughout nature, the 1.618. And then, of course, 6 or 666, right? 666 is known to be the number of the beast or the number of a man, according to the Bible. That's what it actually says. So what that means is the number that shows how we are connected to nature at the base level is 6. That's why it's the number of the beast. Beast just means base. It means like animal. So human beings, we're not just animals, like Darwinist animals, but we have an animal part of us, and then we have the divine part of us, or the creative, or the angelic part of us, well, however you want to say it, right? The thing that sets us apart from all the animals. We have both of those natures. Now, when we talk about that base nature, that's the 6, the number 6. It's funny, they give the Masons the 33rd degree, and it's supposed to be such an honor, right? You get the honorary 33rd degree, and it might be a big inside joke because they're just giving them the 6. All that studying, all those meetings and everything, and all those lessons, and you're getting, your reward is the number 6, 3 plus 3, right? And in a way, it's not a joke, because to master the 6 would mean to master the temporal world, to master the worldly, to have worldly power. That's nothing to scoff at, that's actually one of the big lessons that we need to learn. Again, going back to what I said in the beginning, taking action in the real world. But still, it's a limiting view, right? Because that's only one half of what we are as human beings. But who knows, maybe when you get the 33rd degree, maybe when, Albert Pike or Manly P. Hall got the 33rd degree, maybe they're told this and they're very well aware at this point that the 33 is just, that's only what the masses get to see, and it's only a moniker, and it just signifies that the real truths are left unspoken and unwritten, right? So, who knows? But anyway, the number 6 is all about time and space, which can be oppressive and can be systematic, right? This is oppressive. Of course, Kronos, the Titan, is supposed to be the tyrant that eats his children, right? Well, this is what time does to us, and aging and all of these things, right? That's part of who we are as human beings, though. Only part of it. Now, the other part of it is that number 7. It's represented by that number 7. God, of course, made the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th. So he did it in 7 days. Now, the 7th chakra, you will know that it's the crown chakra. So it's actually depicted as being outside of the body. So we really have the 6 within us, and then the 7 is the crown. It's actually pointing outwards. Okay. 7 represents that magical quality. I call it the magical quality of love and will. To me, this is the force. These are the two sides of the coin of the force that runs the universe for real. Okay, beyond space and time. It's love and will. This is the thing that creates the world. And human beings hold that crown in the universe. We are the animals imbued with the ability to not only love, but also to impose will, which means will doesn't just mean brute strength. Will means the ability to bring something into existence that's not necessarily in your encoded nature. Will is the will to do something different or new. That's why it is said that we are made in the image of the Creator, because God is love and will. Like Aleister Crowley wrote, right? It's actually, you can read into it negatively, but that is actually true, though. Like if we talk about, the Creator, it's going to be love and will, because a creator. Now we're talking about a single individual. A creator is someone who can bring into nature something that was not there before, and that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do away with tyranny. We need to bring into existence a world that actually does not just revert to the same old cycles of violence and control. So when we talk about freedom, natural law, creating a world that is better than before, a world where slavery and fear and abuse is no longer tolerated, that is the same thing mathematically as going from 60 to 70. We got to go from 6 to 7. And that's why I think that 140 BPM is such a motivator to me. It's not the fastest music. You have drum and bass and jungle music, which is like 150, 160, 170. A lot of that music I like, but it doesn't carry the same energy to me, because at that point it's too fast. See, 140 BPM is just fast enough that you're not leaving the status quo behind completely. It's too far from that intuitive, natural heartbeat. To me, that's another metaphor there. We have to stay grounded in the real world and control our time and space, not separate from it completely. We can't separate from the world completely and just create our utopia. That's not going to work. It is about being here and now. It's not love and will if you can't make it happen in the actual world. It's just want and wish. A lot of people are wanting and wishing for freedom. Now, I got way more to say about these numbers and my ideas about the geometry of the universe and the universe's principles, but I wanted to keep it so much short. And anyway, I'm going to write a book about all these ideas that kind of, you get some of them here and now. It's going to be a whole book, which I am not going to start writing, of course, until I take part in the Soundpath Festival. That is what is taking all of my time, and that's why I'm here talking to you about all this stuff, because it wouldn't feel right for me to pretend like I'm concerned with what's on the front page or what's on social media right now, because I'm not really there mentally. Like, my heart is really not there. Where my heart is at is in telling you that tickets are available. to see me alongside amazing musicians perform at Arnold's Family Fun Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Okay, we're talking about western suburbs of Philly. I will be there in Pennsylvania on August 31st. I'll also be doing a set on August 30th, so all throughout the weekend you'll really be hearing me and hearing many amazing people that are going to give you a little taste of their the way music has affected them and their journey towards freedom. This is the whole thing. It's Sound Path to Freedom. That is Labor Day weekend. Tickets are, I think, $33 still for the moment. I hope to see you there. Thank you to all the organizers and to all of the participants who have contributed their hard work and their unique art to work towards this common goal. This is a real exercise of action. This is that action for real. Okay. Now I'll bring my little piece of it. Right. It's going to be a collaborative effort that I am really happy to be taking part in. My song that I want to leave you with is actually less than a year old. It's from an album called Forbidden Frequencies. It's a grime song. So grime has been known for being a music genre about crime and violence. Okay, it's a hyper-masculine genre. Just like the music that I used to make, just like the music that I used to listen to, this is how it started for me. Now, it's said that grime is on the decline. Now, of course it is, or we're talking about the peak of it being like mid-2000s. But just like I transitioned to making music with a deeper lyrical substance, which you'll be able to hear because I'm releasing an album called Sound Path, which is out in 2-3 weeks from now. It can be transmuted, that violent energy, into working towards a good purpose, towards a constructive purpose, and this genre can do that as well. So I'm gonna let you hear it. This is from Forbidden Frequencies, a song called Personal. And I will sign off, and I did keep it personal this week, and sometimes I'll be doing that. Let me know what you think. Comments are open. I'm easy to reach. Sorry if I haven't gotten back to you guys. I need to. A lot of things going on. It'll all come to a head, to a nice conclusion at SoundPad 25. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week and this week.
It's gonna get personal.
There's an elephant in this room, no one is addressing. No one is a brethren, no one isn't mixing. No one isn't blending, no one is pretending. No one isn't, no one isn't. No better 5K run might jog man's memory if no one is remembering. Be direct or don't say nothing. Don't say nothing or be direct. I don't speak like them, I don't breathe like them. Different blood type, I don't even bleed like them. I don't RIP like them, and social network grieve like them. Red dot green like them, heads up we bind them. Remind them, they hide we find them. Pump on chest, kill them not revive them. They say don't throw stones from a glass house, man. Brighton BC side them. Tried to keep it business but
it's gonna get personal.
I wouldn't mention no one's infant spot.
It's gonna get personal.
Keep sharing their own opinion but
it's gonna get personal.
You can speak on the West Indian but
it's gonna get personal.
Bro, I'm from the underground, yeah? So watch this. We've always had an answer. We've always had an answer. If radio are not playing you, yeah, we had the answer. If that's not happening, no TV not playing you, we have the answer. Guess what? This might be the only time we've not had the answer, bro. You know what I'm saying? So when we're looking at, I don't know, man. Maybe we just got complacent, bro. Maybe we got complacent and in the fashion of just being conformist. Do you know what I mean? But there's answers now. We got to look for, okay, the algorithm doesn't benefit me. Okay, what's my solution? What are my strengths? You know what I mean? So I was just doing a lot of thinking, and I'm like, yo, there's got to be something. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, boom, so we got here.